Hi everybody, my name is Zola and today we are going to do 30 minutes of Pilates mat. All you will need is your mat and yourself. Let's get started. Start with your legs separated wider than your hips and your toes pointing towards the front corner of your mat. Reach your arms long to the sides with the shoulders pressing down your back. Let's just start by warming up the body and bending those knees. You want to think of your spine staying nice and tall. Bending the knees and going straight down and straight up. Squeezing the glutes, squeezing the legs at the top. Press the heels of the feet down into the mat. Down and squeeze. Down and squeeze. Just firing up the body, getting a little warm for 4, and stretch, and 3, 2, and 1. Let's add a lift of the heels. So we bend the knees, lift the heels, put the heels back down, stretch the knees. So down on 1, heels up on 2, down with the heels and stretch. Good, again, down and lift and down and up. If the lift of the heels is way too wonky for you, you can just keep bending and straightening those knees, keeping the heel lift out of it. Heels down and stretch. One more. Bend the knees, heels up, heels down. Now let's pulse it down. We pulse and pulse. So it's really important that we're not leaning forward with the chest, right? I'm pretending I'm sliding my spine straight up and straight down on an imaginary wall right behind me. Press 6, press 5, and 4. Make sure you're breathing. 2 more. 2. Hold the bend, hold and squeeze, pressing those knees and those thighs towards the back wall behind you. Hold for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch those legs nice and long. Turn to face the length of your mat and cross your arms, one on top of the other like a genie. Standing up tall, cross one of your legs behind you and try to descend to the floor nice and gracefully, keeping the spine nice and tall. Once you're down, swing those legs out in front of you. Place the feet in front of you with the knees bent. Take a light grip behind your thigh bones. Sit up nice and tall to start. So think of the crown of the head really lifting to the ceiling. And let's find a C curve of the spine. So curl the tailbone under, curl the pelvis under, and kind of look down towards your belly. From now on, we will never straighten out the spine like we started. We'll keep it in that nice C curve for the half roll back. So continuing to look down at the belly, start to roll the spine down, only until the arms are straight. You pause here. Make sure your feet aren't getting light on that mat. Press those heels and those toes down. From here, keeping the weight in the belly button where it is, try to reach your forehead forward towards your knees. And then bring the rest of the body up with it. Remember, we don't straighten that spine out. Again, curl the tailbone under until those arms are nice and straight. And as I bring my forehead forward towards the knees, I'm still trying to push back in my ribs and my belly button. It's like an internal struggle. Again, curl the tailbone under and round halfway back. And then bring the forehead up towards the knees. Let's try it without the hands. If you're feeling good, reach the arms forward, keep that C curve in the spine, and curl the tailbone under. Keep rounding back. And then bring the body back up. So you want to find your own happy spot. Try to not go too low so that you feel like you have to collapse to the floor. Keep the abdominals engaged and keep that spine rounded. Let's do one more of these, curling the tailbone under, feeling your pubic bone pull back towards your belly button. And again, try to keep your belly button here as you bring your forehead up towards your knees. Beautiful. Let's roll all the way down on to the back. From here, bring your knees in towards your chest. Take your hands behind the head, stacking one palm over top of the other. The knees are separated shoulder distance. Lift the chest off of the mat. The heels stay glued together for footwork. Straighten the legs out to a high diagonal. Scoop the belly and bring the knees towards the shoulder. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, pull it in. Again, inhale, stretch. Exhale, pull. 4 more. Stretch it out for 4. Long legs, pull it in. Stretch it out for 3. Pull it in. The shoulders are down the back. Keep the chest lifted by using those upper abdominals. Last one. Stretch the legs out. Bend your knees. Rest your head. Take one deep breath. And then bring your legs to a tabletop position. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, take an inhale. As you exhale, lift the chest, bring your arms down hip height. Let's do the 100. Start pumping the arms up and down like you're splashing water. Inhaling for 5 pumps and exhaling for 5 pumps. Inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. Now I'm constantly trying to reach my fingertips towards the wall in front of me, keeping the chest lifted. I'm keeping the weight of my head over top of my abdominals. It's very tempting to let that neck go. We don't want to do that. Keep looking towards your belly. Inhale for 5 pumps, exhale for 5 pumps, and if you're feeling comfortable, start to straighten your legs on a high diagonal. Keep your legs in tabletop if this is too much for you. Squeezing the heels together, squeezing the legs together. Keep pumping. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3. One more breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the 5, bend your knees, and then go ahead, rest your head. Take a deep breath, stretch those legs long on the mat. Let's do the roll up. Squeezing the inner thighs together. The big toes are pressing in towards your center. The toes are pointing up to the ceiling. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, but don't let those ribs splay off of the mat. Press your back ribs down. Lift the back of your head off of the mat by finding those upper abdominals, and then peel the rest of your spine off of the mat, one vertebra at a time. I'm reaching my fingers towards the wall in front of me, but I'm pulling my ribs and waist back to the wall behind me. From here, starting with the pelvis, curl the tailbone under and start to roll your spine back onto the mat, one bone at a time. We do that again. If that was too hard for you, go ahead and use your hands. Grab a hold of your legs with your hands and let that assist your roll up. Climb the hands down the leg if you need, and then reach the arms forward. So we're never straightening the spine, right? We're keeping that nice C curve. Curl the tailbone under and roll your spine back down. And again, the back of the head comes off of the mat, and I peel the rest of the spine up and off of that mat. Reaching the fingertips forward, pulling the ribs and the waist back, curling the tailbone under, rolling it all the way down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift the back of the head. Exhale, roll yourself all the way up. Inhale, curl the tailbone under, and exhale, paste your spine back onto that mat. Beautiful. Let's bring the knees to the chest and rock ourselves up to a seated position. Scooch up towards the front of your mat so you have a little bit of space behind you, and let's do rolling like a ball. So you're gonna grab a hold of the front of your ankles, bring the feet off of the mat, sit behind the tailbone, curl that tailbone under, and how close can you get your ears to your knees? From here, press your arms into the legs, press the legs into the arms, take an inhale to roll back, and exhale, roll up. Try to not let your head touch the mat, right? Inhale back, keep the spine rounded, exhale, roll it right back up. Again, don't let your feet touch the mat like mine did. Inhale, roll back, and exhale, roll up. Now let's add a little fancy situation in between. So inhale back, exhale up and hold. We're gonna find a teaser. So reach the fingers up towards the toes. Can you straighten your legs and lift the chest? If you can't straighten the knees, keep the knees bent, that's okay. And then we round the spine, find that rolling like a ball position again. Inhale back, exhale up, find your teaser. Stretch everything as long as you can, lengthen, 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 and then round that spine again. One more time, inhale back, exhale up, hold at the top. And then one last time, find that teaser. If your legs are not straight, that's totally fine. But from here, we keep the legs wherever they are and start to roll the upper body down onto the mat, and then bring the knees to the chest. That's not easy, right? Center yourself on the mat. Let's do the abdominal series of 5. Bringing your knees in towards your chest. Take a deep inhale first. Exhale to lift the chest off of the mat. How close can you get your forehead to your knees without lifting the tailbone too high off of that mat? Single leg stretch. Both hands go on the right shin. Straighten that left leg. Think of the right hand being above the right ankle, the left hand being below the right knee. And then from here, switch and switch and switch. As I switch my legs, I'm trying to sink my belly button down towards the mat and keep the shoulder blades lifted nice and high. Again, switch. One more time each side. Hug both knees to the chest and then rest your head. I like to look from side to side to give my neck a little bit of stretch in between each series. And then when you're ready, inhale. Exhale to lift the chest, double leg stretch. I'm going to inhale, straighten the arms and the legs. Keeping the stomach nice and hollow, circle the arms, pull the knees in. So we inhale to stretch everything long. Exhale, circle and pull it in. Again, inhale, stretch. Exhale, circle. Two more. Inhale, reach and hold. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Reach the arms even longer. Circle the arms, pull the knees in. One more good one. Inhale, stretch. Do not drop the chest as you reach the arms back behind you. Circle the arms and pull the knees to the chest and rest your head again. Again, looking from side to side if you need to stretch that neck. We do single straight leg stretch next. The knees stay in towards the chest. You're going to lift that chest off of the mat. Stretch your right leg up to the ceiling, left leg long in front of you. Now grab whatever you can reach. If it's just the thigh, that's fine. Calf, that's fine. Ankle, that's fine. From here, I gently pull just the top leg towards my nose twice and scissor switch. So I pull, pull, scissor switch. Pull, pull, scissor switch. Pull, so you get a nice stretch as you're working those abdominals, right? Keeping the shoulder blades lifted off of the mat, sinking the waist, but also stretching this hamstring behind the leg. One more time each side, and left side. Pull, pull, bend your knees, rest your head, and stretch your neck. Double straight leg stretch, center that head. We take an inhale for nothing. Exhale to lift the chest, stacking the palms, placing them behind your head, lifting the legs up to the ceiling, heels together, toes apart, lowering the legs. Now, I'm only going to lower my legs as much as my pelvis doesn't change. And then lift the legs right back up. Again, inhale to lower. Exhale, squeeze those heels together and lift. Inhale, down with the legs. And exhale up. One more good one. Maybe the legs go a little bit lower. And then exhale, lift the legs, rest the head, and stretch the neck if needed. And from here, center the head. Let's do crisscross, stacking those palms again, placing them behind your head. Take an inhale for nothing. Exhale, lift that chest. Crisscross, you twist your ribs, elbow to opposite knee, or even better, armpit to opposite thigh, keeping those inner thighs hugging the midline. Don't let the knees splay open to the side. Lift and twist and hold. Can you get your back elbow to the center of the mat behind you? Lift the spine to twist and hold. Again, twist and hold. 4 more times. Twist for 4 and twist for 3. Twist for 2. And last one, twist. Bring both of your knees to your chest and take a rest, stretching the neck if you need. Now let's try to stay engaged. Straighten those legs long onto the mat. This is going to feel even harder because we just did so many abdominals. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Pull those back ribs down into the mat. Take an inhale, lift the back of the head off with those upper abdominals. Exhale, peel the spine off of the mat. So much harder after you've done all of those abdominals. Reach the fingertips forward, pull the ribs and waist back. And you survived the ab series of 5. Congratulations. Let's go into spine stretch forward. So let's separate the legs the width of your mat. Flexing the feet, making sure all 10 toes are pointing straight up to the ceiling and the legs aren't turned out. Press those heels down. Maybe there's a slight bend in the back of the knees. For all my hyperextended people, we don't want to push the backs of the knees down into the mat. We want to push the heels down so we can keep the hamstrings and the backs of the legs activated. Reach the arms forward in front of you, sit up tall like you're sitting up against an imaginary wall. Inhale. Exhale, curl the chin to the chest and start to bend the spine forward. Now, I'm going to peel my spine away from this imaginary wall, but my pelvis stays up against that imaginary wall. So I'm trying to reach my fingers towards the wall in front of me, but still pulling my ribs and waist back, just like the end of the roll-up. And then from here, I unfold the spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the other, like bricks. Again, inhale. Exhale, round it forward. Inhale while you're down here. And exhale, roll it up. And let's just do it in one breath. Inhale for nothing. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale to roll up. And exhale to round it down. Chin to chest, fingertips forward, ribs and waist pull back. Can you get your top of the head on the mat in between your thigh bones? Inhale, roll it up. And exhale, rest. Beautiful. Let's bring those legs together. Keep the arms reaching forward and roll your spine one vertebra at a time back down onto that mat. Very nice. Let's flip over like a pancake onto our bellies. Stack the palms one on top of the other. Let the legs be the width of the mat. Forehead right on top of your hands. Now, even though you're lying on top of your belly, you're still activating those abdominals, pulling the belly button away from that floor. Going into a nice baby swan, I'm going to keep my hands glued to my head as I lift my chest off of that mat and hold, hold, and hold, and then bring it down. Let's add the breath. So from here, you inhale to lift the chest off, finding length in the spine. Don't crunch the back. And then exhale to bring it down. Again, inhale to lift. Keep the legs reaching long behind you. Hold, 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 and then bring it down. Good, one more like this, and then we change it up. Inhale to lift. And exhale to bring it down. Let's try this with the legs together now. Now, if you feel that's too much pressure on your low back, continue to do this with your legs the width of the mat. But let's try to squeeze those inner thighs together. Keep the legs reaching long. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower it down. Two more times, just like that, finding so much length in your spine that your chest just happens to lift off of the mat on your inhale. And exhale, bring it all down. One more time, lengthening the spine to lift. And exhale, bring it all down. Beautiful. Let's press back to a child's pose, sitting the hips towards the heels, reaching the arms long in front of you. If you want to separate those knees a little bit wider, feel free. While you're here, rest the forehead down on the ground. Keep the arms active and take a few deep breaths here. And slowly let's roll up through the spine. And again, we flip over back onto our backs. Let's get into those glutes. So the arms are down by your sides. Let's keep the feet together, the knees together. Everything is squeezing together to work those inner thighs. The shoulders are down the back. The arms are pressing down into your mat. Let's just go into a pelvic tilt. So curl the tailbone under. Don't lift the hips off of the mat quite yet. You'll feel your low back push down into the mat. And then just release that pelvic tilt. So let's exhale to curl. Keep those inner thighs squeezing. Inhale to let it go. And exhale, curl, pushing the low back down into the mat, squeezing the inner thighs, pushing the heels and the balls of the feet down into the mat. Inhale, let it go. Going into our full shoulder bridge, keeping the inner thighs together. Curl the tailbone under just like we did, pushing the low back down into the mat. But now let's start to peel the spine off, lifting the hips up. Now I want you to think of opening up the front of the hip flexors, keeping the thighs nice and long. Roll down from the sternum to the ribs, to the waist. The hips, we let that tailbone go. Again, roll your hips off of that mat. Curl the tailbone under, one vertebra at a time, lifting those hips up to the ceiling. Now try to not arch the back. Watch my spine. We don't want this to happen. I want to pull the pubic bone up towards the belly button, keeping my pubic bone higher than my hip bones. And then curl the tailbone under, keeping the low back lengthened as you roll all the way down. Let's add a little variation. I'm going to walk my feet a little bit closer to the body. Curl the tailbone under, roll your hips off of that mat, and stay lifted. Now from here, let's do a couple of marches. So I'm going to pull my right knee to my chest and then put that foot right back down. Now try to not drop those hips as that foot comes off the mat. Keep the low back lengthened by pulling your pubic bone up towards your belly button. Good. Left leg. Pull the knee to the chest and put that foot down. Let's do one more time each side. Right knee to the chest and down. Push into the right foot to pull the left knee to the chest and put that foot down. Let's roll the spine down onto the mat. Once the hips are down, hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. We are not finished yet. We have more glutes to do. So once you're ready, you put those feet right back down onto the mat. Curl the tailbone under and then peel the hips up towards the ceiling. This time, bring the right knee to the chest, stretch that right leg up, heel stretches to the ceiling, and then 3 times I lower the leg halfway down and up. 2 more times. Push into that left foot and lift. Don't drop the hips. 1 more time, down and up. Bend that knee, put the foot back down. Adjust your hips if they've moved. Hug those inner thighs again, and then bring the left knee to the chest. Stretch that leg up to the ceiling. 3 times, halfway down and lift. Try to lift the hips higher as the leg goes down and lift. 1 more time. The leg goes halfway down and the leg comes up. The knee bends. We put that foot down. Hug the inner thighs as you roll the spine back down onto the mat. Hug the knees to the chest. We have one more variation. Really want to burn out those glutes, right? So put those feet right back down onto the mat. Arms are down by your sides. 1 more time. We roll the hips up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the backs of those legs, squeeze the glutes, bring the right knee to the chest, stretch that leg up. I'm going to tap the hips down to the mat, and then I'm going to lift them right back up. Just 2 more times. Tap the hips down and lift. 1 more time, down and squeeze to lift. Put that foot back down, right? Burning out those glutes, bring the knee to the chest, left side, stretch that leg up, tap the hips down. Push into that right heel to lift. 2 more times, down and up. 1 more time, down. Lift the hips up, bend the knee, put the foot down, and roll the spine down onto the mat. That was the last variation. You survived. Bring your knees to the chest, roll your knees in circles, massage that low back into the floor. That's the Q&A. And now let's hit our side body. So, line your back body up with the back edge of the mat. I'm going to lie on my left side first to work the right leg. Resting the head in the hand. If you find that this is way too hard on your shoulder or your wrist, just let the head rest in the bicep with a long arm. I'm going to keep my head in my hand. Now from here, use your obliques to lift both of your legs off of the mat. Bring them towards the front corner of your mat and then set them down with control. That top hand is like your seat belt, using that forearm to push your abdominals back towards the spine. Lift your top leg hip height. Let's kick the leg to the front. Let's point the toes. 1 long kick to the back. Reach, 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 reach. Feel the front of that hip opening. Again, flex the foot. Kick to the front. Stretch it long to the back. Again, kick to the front. And stretch it long to the back. 2 more times. Front, keeping that leg hip height and keeping that leg parallel so the toes aren't pointing up to the ceiling, right? 1 more time. Front, and long to the back. Let's stack the top leg over the bottom without dropping that leg. Let's lift it up about a foot and lower. 9 more times. Lift up and down. For 8 and 7. Can you keep your top leg a little bit longer than the bottom so you have more space in the side body? 5 more. 5 and down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's circle that leg 5 times. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse your circles for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's rest that leg down. Beautiful. If you need to give it a pound, feel free, stretch it out, and we're going right to the other side. So I can continue to face you, I'm going to swing my legs in front of me and take myself onto my right side, lining up the back body with the back edge of the mat. I will be resting my head in my hand, placing that hand, top hand, down in front of your abdominals. Really activate those abdominals. We're still working the entire body. So lift that top, actually squeeze the legs together, lift both of the legs off of the mat. Bring them to the front corner of your mat and then gently set them down. The top leg comes hip height. Try to get the top leg longer than the bottom. For your side kicks, we kick twice to the front, kick, kick, and then only one long stretch to the back, opening that hip flexor. And again, front, front with that leg, kick, kick, and then stretch as you go to the back, reach, reach, reach. Now you're trying your best not to rock back and forth with your upper body. The abdominals are held nice and tight so the upper body stays stabilized. Just that top leg gets to move. 2 more sets, kick, kick to the front, and stretch it to the back, reach, reach, reach. 1 more time, front, front, and lengthen to the back. Feel that stretch. Top leg over bottom. Do not drop it yet. We are not finished. We lift that leg up, and then we bring it halfway down. So remember, down is hip height. That is your lowest point. You don't get to drop that leg yet. 7 more. We lift 7 and press it down. Like that leg is moving through quicksand, you resist the up and you resist the down. We're not letting that leg flail around. Let's do 4 more. 4 and down. Squeeze up and squeeze it down. 2 more. Up. Press down. 1 more time. Up and down. Let's circle the leg one direction 5 times. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse your circles for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down and then come on up. I'm going to continue to stay on this side. We're going to do some side plankings. Side planks. So just make sure as you sit on your hip, there's a slight bend in your knees, not too straight, not too bent, somewhere in between. And your arm isn't quite under your shoulder, or your wrist isn't quite under your shoulder yet. You want to find a happy place so that when you lift up into your mermaid, your shoulder will be over the wrists. Keeping the hips pointing straight forward, bring it down. And again, stacking those legs, pushing into the hand. Lift those hips off of the mat as you straighten your legs, and then bring it down with control. 1 more time, let's lift up and over. Finding that long line from your fingertips to your heels. Just for fun, we're going to lift that top leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top leg comes down. Come back onto your side body. Swing those legs in front of you and switch sides. A slight bend in your knees. If you want to place the top leg or the top foot down in front of your bottom foot for better stability, please feel free to do that. Stacking those legs, lifting the spine, palm is up. I'm going to push into that bottom foot and lift into, whoa, my side plank, keeping those hip points straight forward. And then bring it on down. Let's exhale to lift. And inhale to bring it down with control. 1 more time, exhale to lift. For fun, we're going to lift that top leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the top leg down first, and then come on down, bend those knees, sit the hips down, and then shake it out. Bring yourself up to standing in a graceful way. Find a Pilates stance. That means your heels are together and your toes are only separated about 6 inches apart. Stack the arms like we did earlier today. If you can remember which arm you stacked, switch the cross of those arms. Press the top arm into the bottom,